This is Ernest Kulisevich, and he is a chaplain, a Muslim chaplain, who goes to schools. Tell us what your job is. I don't let go.
Okay, so keep microphone for yourself. Thank you very much, and good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a school chaplain for the Department of Education and also Community Relations Officer. So I'm not representing the department today. There is actually experience that we go through. It's that we meet students of different faiths and students without faith or without any affiliation with faith. What brings them all together? It's their problems. So we are dealing basically with people that are with students or humans that are struggling with their parents, with their community, with their identity, etc. And the work of people of faith, or they call Goddies, or all sorts.
Goddies, that's a good Aussie thing, yeah.
Yes. So they would give different names, but the most common and lovely name is Hello Chaplain. That's when you're walking through the school, we're not insisting from them to call us Mr. This, Mr. That, but just Chaplain. So they converted that into Mr. Chaplain. So
Can I ask you, are you able to just tell us the different schools you go to?
So basically we have chaplains working around the community for different schools within the Department of Education where the community is. For example, if there is a Jewish community, Rabbi would be Jewish or majority Jewish students. Where we have Muslim community, in majority there would be a Muslim or maybe sometimes Christian chaplain. So I work in Belmore Boys High School, also in Liverpool. There are communities there. There are other Muslim chaplains that are working around the other 6 schools, and basically we do exchange information about how should we improve. One really amazing thing, and it's a sacrifice that we have to give. We have to learn how to sacrifice. So people ask you, what do you sacrifice when you are in school? We sacrifice our break time. And that's the time when we go out and we mingle with students, so that we can actually learn from them in their casual, relaxed situation when they are having their sandwich. How can we help them more? So they're talking about their problems. They're What
are the most common things that come up?
Family. We have, I think marriage is a beautiful thing, but divorce is horrible. We have become a selfish society. When it comes to divorce, we start thinking about ourselves, my feelings, my situation. We get divorced and we destroy our kids. A lot of kids are coming and talking that they don't have a proper father. They don't have a proper mother. In boys' school, where I work, they are seeking a male fatherly figure to have example and to learn from things. And chaplains in that situation are really amazing. Not that I'm a greatest parent or greatest person, but being just a little bit great, being just a little bit careful and listen their problems. It's basically what enlightens this community and a younger generation for the future.
Could I ask you one more question? I'm sorry because I'm managing the time, and I want to ask you this as well, and then I'll come back to you, Rabbi, if I may. Just as a rabbi, we talked about the importance of understanding the Holocaust as a first step to a relationship with members of the Jewish community. What are one or two things we must know about Islam if we're respectful? We need to inform ourselves. Would you like to go first? Do you mind standing up?
Yeah, sure. I think firstly we've got to realise that the Muslim community is quite diverse. I think a lot of people think that it's just one race or one kind. It's made up of people from all over the world. So I think it's important to realise that what is respectful is also alongside their religion, but the cultures of those people, which is various. I think the other thing is that, we have this issue with freedom of speech, where people say we can say whatever we want because it's freedom of speech. I think when it comes to religion, I think it's important to be respectful in talking about another person's faith. And I think I find myself being particularly cautious when I'm talking about somebody else's faith as opposed to my own, and making sure that I don't denigrate either their holy scripture or their prophet or their creed. So I think it's important that while we encourage freedom of speech and having open dialogue around religion, that we do it respectfully at all tiers of society, not just in interfaith, but in the media, amongst our politicians and all various facets of society.
What do you believe we need to... Come close to me, if you would, just for the camera. What do you believe we need to inform a Christian like me who knows so little about Islam? What do I need to know?
It's important that we talk about topics that are bringing us together. And there are many topics. There are many commonalities that we have, and we do discuss these topics with students. We have a one-on-one session in schools, but also we have group sessions when we bring people, students from different faiths, backgrounds, and we talk about issues like girlfriend, boyfriend, about their responsibility and respect. And this is where it starts, when they start listening each other, and you would be surprised that sometimes they do argue what is in Islam. So Christian is saying, no, in Islam it's not that way, so it should be this way. And the Muslims are teaching, you don't know anything about Christianity, you should learn these things. So there are things, but I think even if we have small chat, or if we have a small conversation, I beg you today, when you finish, you can have coffee with someone from different faith, and try to find what makes that person different, and why that person is exactly like you. That's what we have from with students. It's basically that they are coming from a family that is teaching Christianity, that is teaching Islam, and they know what their family has channeled to them. But there is no higher theological complications and questions, and that's why chaplaincy is sometimes also simple, because we're dealing with simple questions, and they are just simple human questions. So for me, let's say Christianity would be the same way, climbing to one spot, to God, but looking from different perspective to different things, and we call it religion. So my perspective can be sometimes a little bit different to yours, but your one is also different to mine. But the mission is the same.
Okay. Look, thank you so much. Would you give him a warm round of applause? Sister, I don't want to fall into the trap of not giving roughly equal time to the Catholic faith. So I guess we less frequently hear the voice of Islam and Judaism, but what are the essentials you want this pair to know about the Catholic faith? I'm going to hold the microphone. 2 things they need to know.
First of all, that the Catholic Church is a broad church. In the Catholic Church you have everybody who comes from one extreme to the other extreme. I'll give you an example, but don't put this on me.
No. Sister, can I give you some quick media advice? I'm afraid we are on film, so you need to share something. Would you agree the basic advice is the camera's running, everything's on the record? Yes.
Okay, I'll still say it.
The nuns are out of control. It's been going off here.
In my very early days as a sister, we had very old Irish nuns. And those Irish nuns would go anywhere for the IRA. It was in their DNA. And they believed in the IRA, and it was part of their faith.
Now just explain the IRA for the uninitiated. This will be good. The Irish Republican Army, we're talking about the conflict in Ireland, and there was a peace process that may be fragile in the current circumstances, so it's contemporary as well as the past. But for those who may not be familiar, just in a nutshell, what is the IRA and why would nuns care?
Well, many would have seen the IRA as a terrorist organisation within the Catholic Church in Ireland in the 1900 early years of the century. So that's what I mean by saying that within our church we have people who go from one extreme to the other. We have people who believe rigidly in doctrine, and we have other people who believe that the law of love transforms everything. So I think that's the important thing to know about the Catholic Church, that you cannot judge the Catholic Church by what you hear on social media or ordinary media or anywhere. I'm very different from another nun, let alone from anybody else within the church. And the other thing is that the Catholic Church has changed enormously in my lifetime. I grew up, for example, believing that it was really a serious sin to eat meat on Friday, not to mention missing Mass on Sunday. And so I have grown to a new understanding of my own faith within my own lifetime, thanks be to God, so that I now believe very strongly in a God who is calling us all into communion, people of all faiths, and calling us into communion not just with one another, but with the whole of the universe. So that's all I can say, but it's a very broad church. Perhaps that's the most succinct way of saying it.
Thank you so much. Would you give her a round of applause? I'll come back to the rabbi. Can I come back to you? I'm sorry, I follow my instinct sometimes. I hope that's okay. I want to hear about Mount Sinai College. What is it and what work are you doing there?
So I'm in the college of Mount Sinai College, which is a Jewish day school, about 250 students. However, it's also unique in the fact that it's also open to non-Jewish students. There are a few non-Jewish students who come to the school because it has a very high standard. It's a very, very good school. And so the work I do there is, as college rabbi, is primarily to instill within the kids. I'm not a formal teacher, but I do pop into classes and give a Jewish spin or a Jewish idea on certain topics. Whether that's history, mathematics, I try and bring everything to life.
Give us an example of a Jewish spin, just for fun. On maths.
How 1 + 1 = 3.
That is also a way to understand something differently. If it was possible to have an example, that would be interesting, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, so getting back to it. So one of the classes I recently did is that they were talking in English, they had a certain novel about memory. And so they asked me, Rabbi, could you come in and give the Jewish viewpoint on memory? And then I went into the whole dialogue about how memory is so important, because without memory, without knowing who we were in the past and where we come from, how can we really go forward and how that connects to identity? So that's one example of a discussion we had in an English class that I managed to connect to Jewish heritage, Jewish history, and then the Jewish future as well. But getting back to Mount Sinai College, and what I do there is, I truly believe that we have to be excited about who we are and proud of our history, proud of our heritage, confident in who we are. And so while sometimes subjects are taught very factual out of textbooks, what I try and do is make the kids excited. And when I walk in the room, Rabbi Yossi's here, or do I have a question for you? And essentially, if kids are asking questions, it means that they're engaged. It means that essentially we have a future, because these young kids, if they're asking questions, they want to know more, then they're more likely to go down that path of inquisition and eventually acquiring knowledge and acquiring that identity.
Look, thank you so much. What I'd like to do, we're going to have a break shortly. I'll ask you, Rabbi, to sit down, but I just want to get Rosalie Fishman to rush towards me in an excited manner. And Rosalie is a management consultant, but she's also on the Community Relations Committee of the New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies. And I just want to end this first session. We're then going to hear from one speaker, have a short break, and then we're going to come back for another little panel, a shorter panel session, and a couple of things, and then we'll end. I'm just giving you the rhythm of the session. But I want to fill the room with another example of a fantastic cross-community, cross-faith initiative, and it's called We Are All Sydney. Can you explain what it was all about, its purpose and what happened?
Okay.
I never let go. Can I hold? Yes, you can hold my hand.
Hold your hand.
Yeah. But it's best not to.
Okay. Well, okay. We Are All Sydney. So this is a fantastic initiative that came about through the Jewish Board of Deputies, with some financial support from the Multicultural New South Wales, to help to do some work with new immigrants that have come in over the last, let's say, 5 years. The essence of it came from trying to build a program where across faiths and across communities people would get engaged with something practical that meant something, rather than just dialogue for the sake of dialogue, let's get some action done. So the impetus on this particular one was to offer leadership development skills for these people who wanted to work in community organisations. And we had the most, I'm still flabbergasted by the response. We had something like 17 different
community members involved. We had Iraq, Iran, China, United States, South Sea Islanders, North Africa, when we remember them, Syria, Afghanistan. I mean, you virtually name it, we had them. We had sessions on personal development, on media, on funding, public speaking. We had 6 major sessions, including offering them internships at the end of the time with various organisations that were various Jewish organisations that were part of that. It was absolutely outstanding. These I call them young because of my advancing years. So let's say an average age of 35, 40-year-olds were just so engaged and so excited by the whole thing, and we will be continuing along in this. Now, I know you're going to ask me what was the goal and what's the outcome. The goal is really to get people together and to get to know each other and to work towards something and to learn about each other. So one of the things we did was we actually had a bus tour, which we went around with them to show them various sites about Jewish people. And we will continue on to do it in the other way as well. But the excitement and the bonding and the willingness and the wanting to go forward with something else, with the new initiative, which is what is really the exciting part about it. And we will be running other programs.
Look, thank you so much, Rosie. Would you give her a warm round of applause? Just by chance, I was the speaker at the graduation, so if I could just offer a comment of my own, it was 17 women, it was an all-women group, many Muslim women, many Christian women. I'm not sure if there were any Jewish women, there probably were. But the hotel in the city where we held the graduation, everyone brought their family. There were many children, and photos were taken as people graduated. People were just so excited and proud, and there is definitely going to be a joint action going forward. So I guess why I thought that was worth mentioning was not just because it was cross-culture and cross-faith, but that it was about empowerment and about new skills. It was a very, very exciting initiative and an example, I think, of a way of more than just, as you said it so well, intercontact for its own purpose. It was going to go to community action. Ladies and gentlemen, we have more people to speak to and more issues, but I think the time has come for me to invite Katie Horwath to come forward, who's just going to make a few remarks, and then when she's finished, I'll tell you what the rest of the program is. But Katie, do you want to come forward?
At the 2016 Abraham Conference, we launched a project that we hoped would have continuous life ongoing. The project was Interfaith Shared Meals, individuals organising small groups of people, including from each of the Abrahamic faiths, to share food and conversation. It could be a meal, it could be a morning or afternoon tea, it could be at any time of the day, at any home or venue. The concept was for people to get to know each other, share their stories, discover their similarities and engage positively in their diversity, coming to an understanding of and respect for the differences they discover. Some people last year put their names down as a commitment to do this, and we, the organisations who host the conference, offered our resources if people needed contacts from other faiths. It is our hope that this will continue, and our support, as it is required, is still available. This support is defined by linking people from other faiths, but you need to organise the event, choose the date, the place, the number of people, the format of the gathering, make it your own, be creative. If it is successful, you may wish to repeat it regularly, with the same people or with other people. A few of the people who gave their names and contact details last year gave us some feedback, and I've summarised the following. There was Catholic-Muslim dialogue. We had a number of Abrahamic interfaith iftars, and including one that was organised by a group of students from Wollongong University. One participant added that the Strata Committee is engaging in with the diversity of residents and posts greetings for all the international celebrations, such as Chinese New Year, Easter, Hindu Tamil New Year, Eid al-Fitr, Diwali, Hanukkah, and Christmas. Family Christmas, Hanukkah, Passover Seder celebrations at various people's homes, all including people from each of the Abrahamic faiths, took place. Each year, Affinity organises numerous iftar dinners during Ramadan, and I was delighted to participate in one of them again this year, and actually I'm also very pleased that our hosts are here with us today. They also regularly hold barbecues and brekkies, inviting people of all faiths. And if you'd like to participate in their activities and be placed on their contact lists, then you can either please contact Affinity or Ahmet Polat, who's here today. Members of the New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies also participate in many interfaith events, both large and small. The New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies organises a number of events throughout the year, including Cooking Project, Women of Diversity Dinner, Shared Table, and other activities, and there are flyers on the front table for both of the groups for this. So if you're interested again in finding out more about the activities organised by the New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies or one of our constituent organisations, Linda unfortunately isn't here today, so in her absence you can either speak to Vic or myself and we can put you in contact. As each of our organisations work hard to bring people together in the spirit of understanding, I do hope many of you will continue this autonomously, as well as participating in the ones organised by our institutions. Both are very important, and the friendships that are made can be lasting and rewarding. And I extend my, before I do that, I just also want to say that there is the International Day of Peace. There is an annual event here at this church. Reverend Manas Ghosh organises it every year, and this time it's going to be on Thursday, September 21st at 2 p.m. And I'd just like to extend my acknowledgement and thanks to all who participated or organised something in this past year, and hope others will be also similarly motivated over the next 12 months.
Thank you so much. Thank you.